Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the interview room. It's always an honor to be invited by Vinnie Politan of CourtTV to be on his show as an expert guest. Here's another recent segment that I was asked to weigh in on. I hope you enjoy it. And if you haven't had an opportunity, would you please consider subscribing to our channel? Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
As FBI Louisville begins day 4 of the search at the Woodlawn Springs subdivision, we have recovered an item of interest. This item is being further evaluated, and we will release additional information as it becomes available. We know there are individuals in the community who have information on Crystal's disappearance. Now is the time to come forward. Visit crystalrogerstaskforce.com. Tips, call 502-263-6000. Thank you for your continued support in our pursuit of justice for those responsible for Crystal's disappearance. Big development, an item of interest. Joining us tonight in Lexington, Kentucky, anchor for WLEX, Nancy Cox is back with us. In Charleston, South Carolina, host of the Interview Room with Chris McDonough and former homicide detective Chris McDonough is with us. And in New Haven, Connecticut, retired FBI special agent and senior lecturer at the University of New Haven, Kenneth Gray. Great to see everyone tonight. Nancy, I'll begin with you. Big news from the FBI in this release, an item of interest. What are you hearing? What have you learned?
It is big news because up to this point, the FBI has released no substantive information at all. Now they're saying, we have found something. And I think they're putting it out very strongly to indicate, if you know something, this is your chance to come in and maybe get a deal, maybe get immunity, but you need to act now. They're clearly implying that they are getting close. As far as the item itself, we know nothing but speculation. There's been talk about a possible weapon, a piece of evidence that can be directly tied to Crystal or her remains, bones, anything that might tie that property to Crystal. And the property we're talking about is a home that Brooks Houck was building in 2015 when Crystal disappeared. They've hauled out truckfuls of cement, broken up driveways, and now we understand through the Rogers family, they're digging up the entire yard. I don't think they'd go to those extremes day after day if they were finding nothing. And the FBI is going to be back out there Saturday, Sunday, and as they said, as long as it takes.
Okay, Kenneth Gray, retired special agent for the FBI. What are you reading into what's going on right now?
So the fact that they are conducting a search of these properties means that they have something in the affidavit that supports doing a search warrant at these residences. And so they must have some piece of information that would lead them to believe that something is hidden there, either beneath the driveway or out in the yard or wherever. They found something of interest, and so there may be other things of interest there, but they have to have someone who has told them enough that they were able to get the search warrant for these properties. It takes quite a bit to start digging up someone else's property like that. So the search warrant has to support that.
It's amazing, Chris McDonough, looking at these images that we got from WLEX, these trucks coming in and out, all this dirt being moved. And then we've got shots here from WDRB as well from up high, looking at what's happening down below. Your thoughts tonight, Chris?
Yeah, to dovetail into what Ken was saying, Vinny, that dirt is obviously being pulled out, and it's probably being, sifted in an off-site location somewhere. My read on this is the same as Ken's, that they have something in the affidavit that's going to tie into that property as a whole. So I'm assuming they use some GPR, ground penetrating radar of some sort. And they're going to meticulously, tear this thing apart, that yard.
Nancy, they have been using that, haven't they? The sonar, trying to figure out what may or may not be beneath the soil, beneath the cement.
Definitely. In fact, that's what they brought in on day one before we witnessed any large amount of concrete chunks or dirt being hauled out of there. And we understand that initially the search with that equipment was at 3 properties. Brooks House built 3 houses in that subdivision that summer. Now it is down to this 1 property. So that tells you they got some kind of hit, I would think, with that equipment. And by the way, you mentioned it takes a lot to dig on someone else's property. Brooks House doesn't own that 1 home anymore where they are currently focusing their efforts. So somebody else owns this home, but yet a judge said it was okay to go in there, tear up their driveway, tear up their yard, and who knows what else.
Kenneth Gray, the timeline works. If he's, in the midst of constructing these homes back in 2015 at the time of the disappearance, it seems to be a very logical place to look. And the fact that they have narrowed it from 3 properties and really focusing on 1 tonight, it gives me a little bit of hope.
Yes, the fact that he was building it at the time, that gave a perfect opportunity to hide something where he would think no one would ever look there. So something makes the FBI focus in on this. That to me implies that someone in the community has been providing information that helped them focus in on this and not just speculating that it might be at this property. Someone must have seen him do something there.
Chris McDonough, the other thing, I'm looking at this FBI statement. Now is the time to come forward. And there he is on his mower as investigators were at his house. But now is the time to come forward. And information like that, if you can get more witnesses coming forward at this point, maybe feeling a little bit of the pressure as the FBI gets closer and closer here.
Yeah, most definitely. And you can bet that the behavior science unit was brought in to specifically design that type of statement to the public. And I can bet they're probably, if this is a staging with the car, that's who that is directed at. If there's a second vehicle following the suspect vehicle or the victim's vehicle, then, there's going to somebody has to leave where that car was left. And my bet would be this is the individual they're talking to.
So, Nancy, and I have a friend who's a builder, but he literally doesn't pick up a hammer. I mean, there's tons of workers each and every day. So from my perspective, there's an opportunity here that maybe one of these workers, a contractor, a subcontractor, the super at the site, somebody knew something was going on here.
Most definitely. My dad was a builder. My brother's a builder. There's a great amount of overseeing being done when you're working on 3 properties at once. So did someone see something, or did someone actually inadvertently or maybe out in the open help him do something like this? There is speculation on the ground that it was potentially someone involved in those construction sites who provided a little information that pointed the FBI in this direction.
Yeah, Kenneth, this is, to me, huge because you've got people coming in and out, and someone ultimately is overseeing everything happening, as Nancy said, at the construction site. So if there's, why are we burying that over there? And to me, wow, that would be huge. And there's so many people in and out, whether it's the guys working on the roof or someone putting some pavers down. There are going to be people that have information at a construction site.
People who may work for Brooks, but now might be the time that they might be pushed into the position to reveal this information if they have not already done so by that statement. I agree with Chris. That was carefully tailored to try to push someone to do something.
Chris McDonough, the other part of this, though, if someone has information, and if in fact it's information implicating Brooks House, I mean, we can't forget that Crystal's father was shot and killed by someone. So you've got 2 people. I mean, this is dangerous stuff. And sometimes issues like that can prevent someone from wanting to come forward. Why should I be in the middle of all of this? Why should I risk the safety of my family? And I can understand that, but maybe this will push them there.
Yeah, no, you know that more than anybody, Vinny. I mean, being in the courtroom all those years, this is, this is a fine line. It's a tightrope right now, and that's why actually it's imperative. If somebody does have information, it sounds like the FBI is given a lifeline of some sort, at least to communicate with them. So if I was that person, now is the time to take advantage of the invitation that's put out there in public.
Nancy, what is your gut telling you? Are we going to be calling you again on Monday and say, Nancy, can you please come on and give us the latest developments in all of this?
Well, I hope so, because that would mean something new has happened, and this case has been stagnant for so long. Talking about the element of danger, this is a very small community. Brooks House has a lot of businesses and has a reputation. I believe that's why Sherry Ballard begged for federal involvement early on.
Nancy, let me ask you.
His brother was a police officer.
That's what I was going to ask you. His brother was an officer, right?
That's correct. So if you have other officers on the force or other people afraid to go to police to tell them what they know because of the connection with the brother. So I think it was a game changer when the FBI came in. And specifically now, if they've really found something, I think they're telegraphing to all those people now, and I do believe there are several who know something. They're telegraphing to them that we're here now, we're serious, and you need to come in now. It's been the feeling for a long, long time that people know things. How does a woman disappear? How does a car end up on the side of a highway? All these things happen. He has farm workers. There was a lot of speculation that something happened at the farm. There's so many people who work for or are connected to families who work for Brooks House. There's just this feeling that people know things, but they are afraid to come forward, at least to this point.
All right, Nancy Cox, WLEX anchor, joining us tonight from Lexington. Hopefully we'll speak again on Monday if you're available and there's more developments. That would be great news. Chris McDonough, Kenneth Gray are going to stay with us. Thank you all.